Tell you this, the circuit has in fact dried out considerably over the last few minutes. It's dried out very considerably.
Well, this is what we thought. We reckon that a couple of pace laps around would show whether or not the circuit was going to dry fairly quickly, or whether or not things were going to stay more or less the same. And therefore, those people, if there are any of them that have started on wet tyres, are going to have a very big problem with overheating tyres.
And I'm keeping a wary eye open to make quite sure that that wet down the Mulsanne seems to be going as well, just as quick. It's surprising if you get 48 cars with great big white tyres on them, how quickly they will move the water out of the way. And it would appear that they've moved the water out of the way very effectively indeed. And although as I look down I can see a trace of spray, it's certainly nowhere near as much as there was before. We've got helicopter pictures now. We're looking down on the two Porsches going down the Mulsanne, and the Jaguar's not yet in picture as we come round now towards, of course, the start, which is going to be a couple of 3 minutes late because of the conditions, because of this. They're coming into the braking area, and discernibly the amount of spray that there was about on the previous lap as opposed to the amount of spray that there is about now as they come towards the end of the Mulsanne is a good deal less.
Yes,
I'm looking inside Johnny Dumfries' car, and you can see that for yourself, Richard.
Yeah, there is very much less spray about now. We are assuming then that now the pace car will pull off at the end of this lap. Would you say that that's going to be correct?
Well,
then?
that's what we believe is going to happen. Yep. And when it does, what I'm going to do is to read off the start to you and go straight down as soon as I can to Bob Constanduros, who's going to have a visual look at the cars as they come down.
I should probably just yell a load of numbers, Neville.
That's all right, Bob. You know, sort of, nothing like the 5, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 bit, you know.
Something like
Sort
that.
that out for yourself.
But I'm sure that's what is planned. I don't think they're going to form up on the grid again. I'm sure they'll just be released on the way almost immediately. But you'll be telling me that through my left ear.
Yeah.
So
my guess is, Bob, that probably what has happened is that the pace car is out there with a fair amount of experience, and they probably have taken a little bit of counsel from the drivers who are in radio control, and if anybody was very, very unhappy and said, I am very, very unhappy, they probably would have taken some notice at this juncture. But it seems to me that everybody is reasonably happy with the conditions now. And I'm looking around the sky, and it certainly looks lighter and brighter, and I hope it's going to stay dry.
Neville, I wonder if anybody has actually taken the gamble and started on slicks, because it sounds as though slicks wouldn't have been such a bad idea.
I reckon what's going to happen is that you are going to get some very, very early pit stops. Now, that isn't to make you run, but I suggest that's what you should do.
It's interesting to note that Jochen Mass seems to have taken the front row all to himself, and Eddie Cheever and Hans Stuck now seem to be occupying what they've made a new second row at the moment. I assume they'll reform by the time they come back around to the Ford chicane.
The pace car will probably slow right down, and then everybody will have to close up, and then he'll let them go. But it should produce a right old traffic jam up here when we get them.
Now, while I'm looking down as they begin now to make their way back up towards us. I can't see the cars yet, but it isn't going to be that far away before I do. I can see number 32 who came in and sneaked in, the Nissan, the Asami Takewada Nissan that sneaked in at the end of that lap is back out again. I think he's back out again. He's waiting to be released from the pit road. In fact, there are a couple of cars waiting to be released from the pit road. As I glance away from my right, waiting for the first sight of the pace car to come into view, Jackie Eakes is talking away to French television. I thought I saw a wistful look on his face.
We watched Dumfries there for a moment, actually giving the car a quick weave to try and warm up the tyres. I think that's fairly difficult on the track at the moment, but he was giving the car a weave. We got the in-car pictures then.
Richard, that Nissan, of course, has actually saved itself a lap of fuel, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, crafty that, eh?
Yeah, not bad, eh?
Yeah. Oh, look at the big weave coming up now. Try and get some heat into those tyres. Here they come. Weaving away to get some heat into those tyres. And I can see that there's further chatting going on in the corner of the box there, but I'm watching now as the two Porsches line up side by side, the two Jaguars line up, and then they file through here as they come out. The pace car pulls off. The 55th Le Mans 24-hour race is just but a second or two away from starting as he pulls into the pit road, or does he? Yes, he does. He's in the pit road. We're in business. The cars come up absolutely nose and tail and trying to go between the Porsches. Is number 6 Jaguar there? But they don't want to know, and they keep the door shut, and they're on their way up to the new S's, and they've left a huge gap between themselves and everybody else, and Bob Constanduran.
Yes, I've got them. It's 17, 18, 6, 4, 13, 62, 5 who's dropped back, 15, 61, and another Porsche, I think it was number 2. Then a big gap, then a very big gap. And we have number 8, 51, 36, 11, 7, 37, 72, 23, 10, 3, 1, 2, 7. The first of the C2 cars, Nick Adams, and then 1, and then 1, 2, 3. And there they are. That's how they came past me. Number 5 obviously missed out on that lot, Jan Lammers. Over to you.
Yes, I'm watching the cars now as they pull out onto the straight, and we've got Porsches first and second, and they are already opening up something of a significant gap between themselves and the Jaguar at the moment, as we're looking at the aerial view as the cars come down the straight. And I'm now with Johnny Dumfries sitting in the car there, watching Dumfries go down the Mulsanne. There's a blur of spray ahead of him, which he seems to be closing on. Through the kink, the two Porsches very close together. Down they come. I can see behind them tucked up a Jaguar. Back into the Mercedes again as he comes down towards this braking area, not that far away from them, and I'm waiting to see visual sight to see which of the Jaguars it is that's tucked in, and I'm pretty sure it's Jochen Mass that's in the lead. And we've already got a cloud of spray there. I'm sure it was just spray, but it was a sudden camera shot there. We didn't sort out who it was or what it was. Two Porsches in the lead. Jaguar in third place. Jaguar in fourth place. And the two Porsches, it's number 17 Porsche in the lead then, as we rather expected. Jochen Mass stuck behind him. Then the Jaguars first and second. Then the first of the Kuros Mercedes in fifth place and pulling out to have a snap at one of the Jaguars as they accelerate up. But it's Porsche first and second, Jaguar third and fourth. The other Jaguar that dropped back, we're not quite sure where he dropped back to, but he certainly did drop back. And I'm looking down to see whether physically we can pick him up when he comes back up through the field. We've got quite a gap between them and everybody else. That could have been... No, that's the Jaguars in fact going through. There's the number 6 car, the number 6 Jaguar going through. And that's certainly the Martin Brundle car.
Stuck out in front at the moment there, Neville. Mass right behind him, and then quite a gap back to Martin Brundle. And I think the Jaguars may well have been mindful of Jerez last year when all three had a little coming together at the start. They've got everything well sorted, and I think they're probably just playing a waiting game for the moment. They don't want to get involved in any tussles.
Well, here they come for the first time. It's Porsche first and second. Stuck out in front. The Jaguars currently led by Martin Brundle's car. Quite a gap before we get Dumfries with the Mercedes. Then the next of the Jaguars.
We've got
number
the two
4, the
Porsches.
car.
Neville got the two Porsches through, Stuck and then Mass, and then, as you say, the Jaguar number 6.
And I'm sure, Bob, to interrupt you, I'm pretty sure we have got a Jaguar into the pits. Number 5 Jaguar into the pits.
Already.
There.
And I can't run down there. A couple of cars I didn't see well back with the 2 Ecosses. I just wonder if they were keeping out of trouble. Porsche number 2 ahead of number 61. That's a good effort. Then 36. Then the Cougar already dropped back a bit with Raphael at the wheel.
And Jonathan Palmer is in the pits as well with number 15 Porsche.
Now, you know what all that could be about? They could have just decided they're going to stop for their slicks now. So I don't think it's anything to get alarmed about.
Yeah. Next caller, the Kramer car, number 10. That is in as well.
That's Viva in that car.
And the Jaguar is back in the race.
So I'm almost certain that would have been a car stop then.
So the Jaguar, the number 5 Jaguar, the Jan Lammers car, which stopped at the pit. We didn't see whether or not he stopped for a change of tyres, but I wouldn't be in the least surprised if that was the case. I can't see, in fact, for the people down in the pits. It's as difficult as that to pick up who's doing what down there. I don't think I've seen quite so many people in the pit road at this stage of the race so early. A lot of people were obviously expecting a pit stop there, but we'll get news from that one as to what happened as soon as we can.
Palmer was also out of the pits right behind that Jaguar. So I think probably they both stopped for as long as the other one. That's all the one.
And the Jaguar goes very sideways there, and I think that was the number 5 car.
It was number
again.
6. It was number 6.